The fourth chapter of The Return of the King is the best chapter ending that I've ever read in my entire life. It is so epic and so dramatic, and it's something that Tolkien has been building for about 100 pages. And how he arrives at this last point is unbelievable. And I just want to talk for a second about how brilliant this man is. In yesterday's video, I talked about my first time reaction to watching or to reading The Witch King's arrival into Minas Tirith. And if you missed that, go watch it. But suffice it to say that when Gron breaks down the gate, the movies have trolls with these huge clubs coming first into the city. The book has the Witch King on horseback come into the city first. It's one of the most terrifying moments that I've ever read, but also one of the coolest. But that change alone, which is probably, I think, the biggest shocker to me, it wasn't why I thought this chapter ending was so good. It 100% contributed to it, and I want to read that section just to kind of get the mood for the rest of the last two paragraphs that Tolkien actually writes. So, let me just read this. The book says this: "Thrice he cried. Thrice the great ram boomed. And suddenly upon the last stroke the gate of Gondor broke. As if stricken by some blasting spell, it burst asunder. There was a flash of searing lightning, and the doors tumbled in riven fragments to the ground. In rode the Lord of the Nazgul. A great black shape against the fires beyond he loomed up, grown to a vast menace of despair. In rode the Lord of the Nazgul under the archway that no enemy ever yet had passed, and all fled before his face, all save one. There waiting, silent and still, in the space before the gate, sat Gandalf upon Shadowfax. Shadowfax, who alone among the free horses of the earth endured the terror, unmoving, steadfast as a graven image in Rath Dinen. You cannot enter here, said Gandalf. And the huge shadow halted. Go back to the abyss prepared for you. Go back. Fall into the nothingness that awaits you and your master. Go. The Black Rider flung back his hood, and behold, he had a kingly crown, and yet upon no visible head was it set. The red fires shone between it, and the mantled shoulders vast and dark. From a mouth unseen there came a deadly laughter. Old fool, he said, old fool, this is my hour. Do you not know death when you see it? Die now and curse in vain. And with that, he lifted high his sword, and flames ran down the blade. Now, I've already made 2 videos about how the chapter endings were just getting darker and darker, and this moment is like the peak of the darkness right here. And at the start of The Return of the King, the first 3 chapters really end with very, very bleak messages. In the first chapter in Minas Tirith, this is how Gandalf and Pippin end the chapter. Pippin is essentially falling asleep, and Gandalf comes into the room, and Pippin is excited to see him, but then Gandalf says this at the very, very end, because he's about to send him up to Denethor, because he's like, fall asleep, Denethor, we're going to go see Denethor in the morning, but he says this: But the night will be too short, said Gandalf. I have come back here, for I must have a little peace alone. You should sleep in a bed while you still may. At the sunrise I shall take you to the Lord Denethor. No, when the summons comes, not at the sunrise. The darkness has begun. There will be no dawn. Now, this is both a literal and metaphorical darkness, and of a no dawn. The clouds are growing, and the dawn isn't coming. I wrote an essay about how good of an ending this is, because Tolkien is essentially taking away the hope of the reader. If there's no dawn at all, where is our hope going to come from? Now, the next chapter ends in a similar way, as Tolkien says, but the next day there came no dawn, and the great company passed on into the darkness of the storm of Mordor, and were lost to mortal sight, but the dead followed them. Now, this is when Aragorn goes to fetch the army of the dead, and maybe it's a bit more hopeful, but maybe not at the same time. The great company is passing into the storm of Mordor, and the dead are following them. This actually could be worse, and the dawn is not coming yet again. No one knows if it's day or night, because it just continually gets darker, and there is absolutely no light and no dawn. And with that lack of dawn, so comes the lack of hope for the reader. In the 3rd chapter, right before the 4th ending of the chapter, It ends in a similar way, and it says this: "But their fires were quenched. All the lands were gray and still, and ever the shadow deepened before them, and hope waned in every heart." This is a blatant continuation of this theme of no hope and despair, and how the dawn really isn't coming. Most books follow the cliche of it's always darkest before the dawn, so they get really, really dark, and then all of a sudden there's this beacon of hope. I think Tolkien is changing this up a bit, and he's saying, what if there was no dawn? What if I took the dawn away from the reader? And the peak of this is when the Witch King rides into Minas Tirith, I think. It really feels hopeless in that moment. Even though Shadowfax and Gandalf stand up against the Captain of Despair, it still feels like all hope is lost. Except for the most unexpected little cock imaginable. Rooster, I mean. When the most terrifying thing has happened in the book so far, when there is nothing but darkness and the clouds have been covering the light so thickly that no one knows if there really is any dawn anymore, or when even the sun rises, when no one can see the hope in the form of any form of light, Tolkien writes this: Gandalf did not move, and in that very moment, away behind in some courtyard of the city, a cock crowed. Shrill and clear he crowed, recking nothing of wizardry or war, welcoming only the morning that in the sky far above the shadows of death was coming with the dawn. And as if in answer, there came from far away another note. Horns, horns, horns. In dark Mendaluin's side they dimly echoed, great horns of the north wildly blowing. Rohan had come at last. How good is this? In the bleakest point in battle, when things surely seem lost, is this little rooster that makes all the difference. And just to get metaphorical here, what a lesson in life this is as well. That in the darkest moments of our lives, when there seem like there won't be any dawn, just wait for that rooster to crow. Just wait for that hope to come, even when it might look like it will never come, because the dawn always comes. And while these characters cannot see the dawn, I love that the Witch King rides into the city and all of a sudden lights his sword on fire, and everyone is terrified. And this brave little rooster just does not care. In some courtyard in Gondor, this rooster gives hope to every person in Gondor. And this rooster comes with more than just a crow, because the horns of Rohan come in reply to this. And again, this is Tolkien's indication that no matter how dark the night gets, no matter if there isn't even a dawn and he takes it away from us, there's always hope. And this rooster just took central stage in the Battle of Minas Tirith. I talked before about the quick duck that saved Samwise and Moria, but now we have the crowing rooster. The duck was never seen again, and it kind of just stepped in to save Samwise once. At least that's my headcanon. But just go watch that essay on that, by the way. It might be confusing if you've read this a few times and you're like, what? There was never a duck? There was, I promise. But I can just kind of see this rooster feeling the hopelessness of the city now, and not caring that there's darkness, just stepping up into the courtyard, clearing his throat, and crowing. This rooster knows that the sun is up there behind the clouds, and it's his turn to let everyone know that. He crows, and so the horns of Rohan come in answer. It's just some of the best writing that I've ever encountered, especially because I've really sensed Tolkien building this up for the last 3 chapters. And to have this moment where the rooster signals the dawn truly is coming is just a masterclass in how to end a chapter, and is just the perfect chapter ending. Tolkien is in such command of the English language and in such command of my emotions. He is just a premier author. So subscribe for more of me just doting on Tolkien. Make sure you like the video as well. You can also become a member for some members only content and early access to videos. And as always, remember to look toward Numenor that was, and beyond to Elvenhome that is, and to that which is beyond Elvenhome and will ever be. I'll see you in the next one.